can you receive it, or do you think something's wrong and now you have to do something to mask it over? In other words, to push away the very nutrition that the universe is giving to us in that moment to enliven our state of being. So as we're going through our life, if we're paying attention to the emotional signature and containing it, not suppressing or sedating it, but saying, I'm fully aware of it, and digesting it, what we'll notice is it enlivens our state of being for all the activities we're about to enter. Because there's a part of me, for example, that knows I'm going to do a presentation next week, right? And as I approach that presentation, maybe the afternoon of the presentation, I will start to have these strange emotional feelings in my body.
These are sensations?
They can be, we can call it anxiety, we can call it nervousness, we can call it whatever. We give it names, but these are just names. What it actually is nutrition to enliven my state of being so that I can enter that experience in a full, enlivened state of being. So instead of, I can tell a story about it. Oh, I'm not ready for my presentation, therefore I should prepare in some way, right? Or something bad's going to happen, or I'm not a really good speaker. We can go into a story which will drive our behavior into doings to try and compensate. Or we can sit with that and digest that, because that's receiving what we require.
You also just said their doing is compensation.
Yeah,
that's all doing, right?
Yeah. Well, that's doing as in momentum to try and feel better,
right,
and to try and sedate and control. It's not momentum to express life, because life is full of activity. I mean, life is about being active and enjoying the activity. But when the activity is all about doing to feel better, it's the same as being the child who pushes the people away that would love it, because it's so annoying. All right? And then everything it requires is not there anymore, because the parent is turning away from the child and going, you're just annoying me, right? So it's the same thing. When we're being without condition, the universe dances around us and brings to us exactly what we require all the time. And every emotional signature we go through is really the nutrition that is being given to us to continually enliven our state of being. That's the food, for example, Jesus was talking about, that you're given this is your daily bread. This energetic emotional signature that's coming to enliven the state of being, because when I enliven my state of being, it's being without condition. That is the magical elixir that brings what I require. And once I experientially am able to receive that realization, then I can just relax. I can relax, enjoy my life, participate in activity, and as long as I am taking care of what's going on in the heart. That's the saying, if I take care of what's going on in the heart, then everything else is added unto me. Everything is given. But it's the same for every human being. There isn't a human being on this planet who is not in this very moment receiving what they require to enliven their state of being. If they don't receive it, then they don't enliven their state of being, and what they do is they actually just fuel their state of doing, and then it's like doing. That's what I call doing. Doing is doing God's job. It's trying to do all God's job, right? Doing the universe's job. It's not my task to do God's job. God's job is to bring to me what I require. My task is to digest the nutrition being brought to me, is to pay attention to my emotional signature, is to be without condition. And being without condition is just another way of saying love, unconditional love for myself. It must begin with myself, right? To awaken my state of being.
Well, the causal point is in the present moment. Is that right?
Well, for my way of approach is the causal point is the emotional signature, is the felt aspect of my experience. To me, that's the causal point for me. That's the point, because the feeling is always taking place in the present moment. That I can be sure of. I may be in a state of what I call anxiety. The anxiety is in the now. If I be with that without condition, I'm being in the moment. It's being in the moment that is all the magic that one needs to have. So the reason why the feeling body is so important, or the felt aspect, is the reason why I am driven into being a doer rather than into expressing myself as being, not a being, but as being, right? The reason for that is because of an unintegrated condition in my emotional body. And that's why if I want to go and dissolve the impetus into doing, I must go to the causal point that's driving that momentum. It's happening unconsciously to me. And the way I do that, or the way I accomplish that, is through a not doing. And the not doing is that visitation every day, consistently, of those emotional signatures that are most significant in my life, that are causing the most apparent discomfort in my life. Mm-hmm. By revisiting those, I am going to the causal point of that which is driving me into doing. By resolving them through being with them without condition, I'm going to gradually, organically diminish doing, my doer. It's going to die. And what I'm going to awaken, I'm going to awaken the being. The being. Not the person, the being who's doing something, but the being.
Yeah, but there's no story there about once I integrate this feeling of anger, that I'll never get angry again.
No, because it's actually not anger. It's just an emotional condition. It's an emotional body condition that we have called anger. It's a word. Anger is like a concept. It's a label. It's a spell.
Okay.
I like to think of it as a spell.
Okay.
Right. But it's an emotional condition. But anger unconsciously is aggression. The same energy experienced consciously is assertion. And fear unconsciously is running away from everything. Fear, when it's brought consciously, is discernment. It's just an energy that enables me to... Okay, this energy that's coming up now is telling me it's time in this moment to be discerning. I'm unable to be discerning if I run from my fear. If I'm able to be with my fear without condition, to be in that energetic state that I call fear, by being with it, I'll be able to discern what's appropriate for me in the moment, right? It's the same with grief. Grief is just another label or a spell, right? A word that we spell over an energetic circumstance. If I'm unable to be with my grief without condition, then I run away from anything that asks of me to feel deeply. I run from it. But once I'm able to be in my grief without placing any condition on it, that gives me the capacity to be in this world and to be able to feel deeply what's going on in my life without falling over all the time, without going off balance. So these emotional signatures, although when we run away from them, they look like demons. Once we embrace them, we realize that they are the jewels that deliver us from... See, the doer lives in the boredom. The state of being is the entry into the kingdom. And the rite of passage is through the heart. And the guardians at the doorway of that rite passageway is fear, anger, and grief, what we call fear, anger, these emotional conditions. Because if we don't embrace them without condition, they drive us into doing. When we embrace them without condition, they enliven our state of being. Okay, so they, to me, are the causal point. They're the crux of the matter as far as entering present moment awareness. Because present moment awareness is just us being here, without condition. Like now, we don't know where we're doing, we don't know what we're doing and where we're going. That doesn't matter, right?
Right.
But if we had like a piece of paper and we were like navigating what was happening now, trying to do something, it would have a different resonance to it than we just sitting and have a conversation. And life really is an opportunity to just have this ongoing conversation.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.